may be attending, what your understanding of the MSOL program is in terms of the outcomes and what you have learned and how it has influenced your perception of what organizational leadership is and how you're applying it in the workplace. And it gives you an opportunity to, in essence, defend or define what organizational leadership means to you. That geography. And this is an opportunity to do some more traditional kind of research, if you will, more thesis type of research that you would find in that kind of project. But this is a way of going beyond the classroom and creating a compendium, if you will, of resources, of textbooks, magazines, journal articles, periodical articles, focused or centered on a topic of interest to you that's related to leadership. An annotated bibliography is a summary of these resources that you've gathered. And so in your ILP manual, you'll see lists of some of the topics that people have chosen to do annotated bibs on. And I don't mean bib, you know, something that you wear over yourself to keep the shrimp from getting grease all over your shirt. I'm talking about the annotated bibliography. And so it gives you that chance to go beyond and to understand more and to show some insight into this. So it's an investigation into a topic or issue related to leadership in which you're interested in. And I encourage you to check those things out and read through the process that you need to go through in order to create that focus. It gives you a chance to find out what others are saying about your topic, people that write about it, people that have researched it, experts and authors. And when we say the literature, when we say a annotated bibliography, we talk about reviewing the literature. We're talking about journals, texts, and magazines, and other kinds of media. Internet certainly has become a resource for media, and we'll be talking about that more this evening when we talk about the annotated bibliography. Essentially, you're choosing a topic, and with your mentor's approval, you begin that process of researching that. And we'll be introducing you to various tools and aids that are going to help you in that process. So we want to be there, we want to be able to provide resources that will be helpful to you. And again, later in another video, we'll be talking in depth about the annotated bib. So if you have questions or concerns, save them for that session of this evening. Finally, you have the capstone summary paper. And this is the chapter in which you demonstrate in all of the effects and changes and developments that have occurred over this 2-year period, just about. Capstone summary paper is a summary of this development that has taken place. It is a definition, if you will, of your conception of organizational leadership. It's a chance for you to write out and articulate what your model of organizational leadership is. So it's a final synthesis and exposition on organizational leadership. It combines the insights and the knowledge and the application of course content that you've experienced over the time of the program. And it's your expression of what organizational leadership means to you. And that's the key again, is understanding how can you get your arms around all of this material that you've been exposed to and that you will be exposed to in the next 2 years. The Integrated Leadership Project is trying to do that for you, and this capstone summary paper is the final summary of that experience that you've had. The capstone summary chapter is a development of your definition of organizational leadership, and in that you identify the most significant key concepts or domains of study from the MSOL curriculum that are the building blocks of your definition. You may find out that communication and motivation are 2 key components to your model. And so the model that you develop may be grounded in those 2 domains, in those 2 areas. And then you support those key domains and your definition by citing the authors and the theories and the concepts that have influenced your thinking in this way. So you provide support for your foundation, for your definition, by citing those sources, by listing and indicating these are the people that have influenced my thinking. And when we pull it all together after having written the introduction and the capstone summary chapter. Then we have a final oral presentation, a 20-minute presentation in which you, to all the class members, to the other members of the cohort, give a defense, if you will, of your integrated leadership project. You indicate, this is what leadership means to me right now. This is what's happened to me. This is the conception I had coming in. This is what happened over time. This is where I am now, and this is what's influenced that. And it needs to be rather concise. It needs to be well organized. 20 minutes is not a whole lot of time to talk about a 2-year experience, but we have to do it that way. And then there's a time for question and answers. Well, when it's all said and done, it's all over. That's it. And so I know that right now it may sound like, what in the world was this guy talking about? How am I going to get through this thing and do everything else that I'm expected to do in this program? And the bottom line is, we've had many, many cohorts finish and do this already. We have evidence of many people that have finished the program and finished their ILP on time. And they've done it because they've been able to manage the time, they've been able to get organized early, they've taken advantage of the resources that we've had available to them. They certainly have used the insight and the support from their mentor and from their other folks in the class. The key is, don't set this thing on a shelf and let it collect dust for very long. Stay with it and keep at it and keep visiting it again and again, not only at the end of each course, but as you're working on other components of the project itself. You want to stay with it so that you don't have this sense that I'm coming down to the last course and I've got all this other stuff to do on my ILP. We have set it up in such a way that you can avoid that, and we encourage you to do that. And I want this night to be a way of yes, creating perhaps a set of questions, but also providing the chance for getting some answers early on. This project, believe me, tonight this project may not make complete sense to you. And that's not a problem. Because if you talk to graduates of MSOL, they will tell you that in the early stages of this project process, it may not have made as much sense to them as it did as they got closer to the end and understood more clearly from their own experience what this integrated leadership project was about and how it reflected the integrated nature of the curriculum. It takes time, and it takes an understanding of how these things fit together, and being able to step back and reflect on what's been going on to really see, okay, I know what this was about, and I know why I did this, and I understand now what it has given me. I could tell you many stories right now, and I won't, but I will say this. We have many stories of people who have used their integrated leadership project, literally going out on interviews, to jobs, and using it in other ways to help influence their organizations, but to show people and demonstrate to people what they have been able to do with regard to organizational leadership. And they've referenced that. And so there's some very real practical value in it besides the principle of doing it. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that after this evening you will have a better sense of what this project is about. Again, understand that you may not have a full comprehension of every piece of this project after tonight. That is not a problem. The thing we want you to be able to do is, okay, now, where do I get started? And that's part of this evening's outcome as well. So thank you very much, and have fun.